this is my Kenny Aronoff story. Uh, when Cinderella, who are good friends of mine, Tom Kiefer invited me to come over to KGM Studio at the time. They were working on the Still Climbing album, which was their last studio album that they did. And they had hired Kenny Aronoff as the drummer for the record. And he's just a monster drummer. And I went in and Tom said, just come in and sit down. They had these couches in the back. I'll see if I can find a picture of the control room. He just sat back there and I was just watching things. And, it was funny because they were cutting the drums and something wasn't right. The producers had just done the Heart record. I think it's some Dwayne Purdell, and I forgot the other guy. The one guy, he passed away. But they were a team that they were producing the Cinderella record. But they were trying to get the drum part down, and it wasn't coming together. And it was funny because Kenny Aronoff came into the studio. We came into the control room, and they're going, okay, we want it to go like this, and you're doing that. So without technical terms, they're like, you mean boom, boom, pop, and then pop, boom, boom, or boom, boom. That's how they were explaining it to each other. And but that got across to Kenny, and he got he went into the drum booth and recorded his part, and they were like, that's it. It's great. And the drum booth over at KGM wasn't actually a drum booth. It was a big room that was outside of the control room in the studio, but sounded fantastic. But it wasn't acoustically treated at all. So whenever they recorded guitars or drums in there, it would go through the building and it would go outside. Just that where KGM was, there wasn't any houses close by. It was very secluded. It was right by a creek. But when that was all done, Tom says, okay, we're going to go out to lunch. And I said, all right, I'll just sit here and wait for you guys. And Tom said, no, you're coming with us. And I said, all right, fine. So we went to a Mexican restaurant on the main line in Philadelphia. And it was me, Kenny Aronoff, and the producers, and Tom. Eric Brittenham may have been there too. And Kenny, I don't know what it was with him, but he had way more energy than most people do. You could just tell. And I go, what is up with you? And he says, nature of the beast, nature of the beast. I go, but calm down. He says, it's like someone who had way too much sugar. That guy has way too much energy. But we sat down and we had lunch. And I remember the conversation. They were all talking to each other about the per diems that they would get touring and what their accommodations were when they were touring. And they were just trading stories. And I was just sitting there quietly. And then I think one of the producers asked me what I did. And I explained to him, I sell pro audio gear. And Tom told them what I did. And all of a sudden, everybody at the table was asking me questions about gear, which was great in one way, but I really didn't want the attention. But that's what I do. But this story is about Kenny. So that was the Kenny Aronoff story. Really nice guy, incredible drummer, and just way more energy. But I think most drummers that I've met, they're that way. They just got way more energy than they should have. But he played great on that record. And if you haven't heard that record, Still Climbing, listen to that record, and the drumming in particular. It's a fantastic record. It's just a pity that the grunge stuff started happening just when they released that record, and it didn't get the push that it should have.